Atomic Blonde. Could this potentially be the female version of John Wick? Watch my review and find out. This film is directed by David Leitch. He co-directed the first John Wick film. However, this is his solo directorial debut. It stars Charlize Theron as the main protagonist, James McAvoy, Sophia Boutella, and John Goodman. The story is about an undercover MI6 spy, Charlize Theron, who is sent to Berlin during the Cold War to recover a missing list of double agents. The cinematography in this film is really good. The shots in this film had a really desaturated look to them. All the colors were kind of washed out. They weren't entirely washed out, but they weren't as pure as they are in real life. And I liked that. It helped add to the tone and feel of this movie. Each shot is great, especially the action scenes, which is where this film truly excels. They're very well choreographed and you're never confused about what's going on the screen. The best scene in this entire film, by far, was this one-shot action scene. Or at least what looks like a one-shot action scene. Once I finished the film, I looked it up, and it was actually 40 different shots that were CGI'd to make it look like one seamless take. Which really shows you how far technology and CGI has come. Because when I was watching this film, I was looking really hard to see if this really was one shot, or if there was like an obvious cut somewhere. And I didn't notice at all, except for one which I wasn't 100% sure, but I was fairly certain because they go into a dark room and then just emerge out the other side, because that's quite an easy cut to do when it's pitch black. Also, another fun fact that I want to share, which was actually the reason why I was looking up the film after I saw it, was that there was this action scene quite early on in the film that was in a tunnel, and I wrote in my notes, is this the tunnel from Captain America Civil War? And you know what? It was. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I was kind of impressed that I noticed that. Transitions in this film were really good. For most of this film, which I don't consider a spoiler because it is in the trailers, she is basically just talking about the events that happen in an interrogation room. And when it cuts back to present day in the interrogation room, the transitions are really good. You can hear some dialogue from various scenes blended into the present day. And they also used reverb really well in this film, which I thought was a nice touch. And there's actually my favorite use of the Wilhelm scream in a long while. If you don't know what Wilhelm scream is, I'll put a link in the description below either explaining or an example of what it is. And trust me, you're going to start noticing it in loads of action films. You're welcome. So yeah, the cinematography and the fight choreography of the action scenes, they were the best parts of this movie. Everything else could have been better. The pacing of this movie was really slow sometimes, especially between each action scene. The action scenes, I would say there was only 4, maybe 5 in total, but there was a good amount of time between each one. You were watching and you were just waiting for the next fight scene to happen. The trailers really make you think it's going to be an all-out action film like John Wick. Not the case. When the action scenes are there, they're so good, it's just you have to wait so long for each one. The acting in this film was good, at least with what they had to work with. The characters felt quite one-dimensional. There was no character arc for any of the characters, and you didn't really get to know any of them, including Charlize Theron. The entire film's about her character, but after watching the movie, I can only really tell you about 3 things about her, and that's it. The ending felt really tacked on. It kind of felt like a studio executive was just like, you know what, I think this could be a really good franchise for us. Yes. You there. Yes, you. Go get them to add a couple more scenes to the end of the film just in case it makes enough money. Why, you ask? So we can make a sequel. Did I really just do that? Overall, like I've said many times in this video, the action scenes are really well done. However, they're few and far between. And those moments in between, since you don't really care that much for the characters, it means you're not as gripped to the story. At least not as much as the studio would have wanted you to be. I would give Atomic Blonde a 6 out of 10. Is it as good as the John Wick films? Not quite. But it does have the same feel and tone. Just imagine the John Wick films, but with less fighting and more focus on the story, and the story scenes are just a little bit too dragged out. And then make John Wick a female, then you have Atomic Blonde. You know what, now that I think about it, a lot of the films I've seen since War for the Planet of the Apes have had very one-dimensional characters. I hope that kind of changes soon. So are you planning to see Atomic Blonde, or have you already seen it? Was the one-shot scene your favorite scene in the whole film? Comment below, tell me what your thoughts were, and let's have a discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can see the next movie review that I put online. Until next time, see ya.